Hello and welcome to the Fools on Stools podcast. My name is Kevin Walker, and as always, I am joined by my co-stars Anthony Council and Cullen Brown. Today is Friday, February 18th, 2022. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your day. If you have a great time and don't mind, please do post us, share us, or tell others about us. If you don't like what you hear, then simply tell no one. Today is National Thumb Appreciation Day, or Thumbs Appreciation Day. So for the listeners, the boys just gave a big thumbs up to the camera because we are now on video. You can watch us on YouTube and on the KNTU website. But boys, we made it to episode 10.
Double digits. Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, God for this moment.
Thank everybody.
No, for real. Everybody who listens, tunes in, and gives us support. Appreciate y'all a whole bunch. We wouldn't be here. I mean, where we be at right now, we wouldn't be here without y'all. We got over 300 listeners. Last time I checked. So
yeah, shout out to the Fools on Stools listeners.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's only fitting that now that we're officially going to be on YouTube for episode 10. It's a really benchmark episode for us. We're here. It's episode 10. We're ready to get into it. And yeah, let's get into it.
That was the big announcement, by the way, for those wondering. That was the big announcement. We are on video now. So without further ado, let's jump into the association. Last episode, we previewed a little bit of the All-Star Weekend. We previewed a little bit of the celebrity game in Anthony's Alley. Be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. So here we are, All-Star Weekend. Celebrity game is currently going on right now. Myles Garrett almost absolutely dominated some dude. What do y'all got for the All-Star Weekend?
It's the All-Star Weekend, baby. You know, slam dunk contest, three-point contest, All-Star game on Sunday, HBCU Classic as well, Morgan State against Howard. I'm going to preview that on Anthony's Alley for a little later time, but it is that time. I got the glasses on, I got the 11s on for all the people who are watching. You got to represent. You got to look smooth for All-Star Weekend. All the players coming in with their best dress, looking fitted and clean. I had to put on the cardigan glasses on with the khaki pants, the J's. A little something, right, Cullen?
Little something. When he walked into the studio today, I don't think I've ever seen him smile as big as he was when he walked in today. He was dressed to impress. He was ready like an NBA player going down the tunnel. Anthony's ready for All-Star Weekend. Don't forget, too, we got the skills challenge, too, with the Antetokounmpo brothers. We got Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley representing for the hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we got some rookies, Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, and Josh Giddey competing in that skills challenge. So
that's going to be fun.
It's going to be a really interesting weekend for sure.
Josh Giddey's a baller.
Yep, he really is. He's one of those dudes that's just really – he's smarter than a rookie, so he just naturally plays like a veteran, even though he isn't. It's his first year. And he's got a bright future ahead of him, for sure, to say the least.
And I think that has to do with just when players play, whether it's football, or whether it's for the NFL or the NBA. I think it just has to do with players who play internationally. I feel like for some of them, it's just a different. It's a different level of competition because they're playing international and they're not just playing like in college, but they're going against like older players, like, for example, LaMelo Ball when he went to Australia to play in the NBL, the Australian League. He was playing against grown men, not just students out of college and stuff. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm very excited for the All-Star Weekend. It is going to be fantastic. And then after that, we get to preview the rest of the season, and I am super thrilled.
Yeah. No, did you guys want to potentially predict kind of who's going to win? The skills, the three-point, dunk? Maybe even the All-Star game? Or
do you got the list of who's competing in what?
Come on, Kevin. It's a list
Yeah.
now.
That's true.
Come on now.
That's true.
Come on now.
Give it to us and we'll make our picks.
All right. Well, I just did name. Do you want me to repeat the skills challenge?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. So we got 3 teams. The Antetokounmpo brothers. I apologize if I did not pronounce that name correctly. Antetokounmpo. Yeah. Giannis.
Can you spell it?
Thanasis.
Not even going to check that.
Man, we don't got enough time for all those letters, man.
Right.
And Alex, who's actually on the G League Raptors 905 team. And then, like I said, we got Team Cavaliers representing from the hometown squad, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and Evan Mobley. And then the rookies, Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Josh Giddey. So who are we thinking is going to come home with this one?
The Antetokounmpo brothers. I got to give it to them. I mean, that whole family that, family competitiveness. I mean, you got one of the best players in the world. You got his brothers as well, and I've heard Alex is like I've heard that they've said that he's probably going to be the best out of the brothers, and that's coming from Giannis himself. And I'm just like, okay.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you never know. I mean, he is in the G League, and he is a young buck. So, young buck.
Literally. Okay. Good pun.
Yeah.
Good pun.
Kevin, who do you got?
And so is that for like all the skill challenge? Like,
Yeah, so they just made it basically it's going to be a 4-round test of shooting, passing, dribbling, ability. So all 4 of those just kind of like, or excuse me, all 4 of those rounds.
I'm gonna take the rookies on this one.
You're taking the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any reason behind that, or you just?
Josh Giddey's pretty. We've already seen it. He's had a few triple doubles already. Now he's pretty good at passing the rock. He's pretty decent at shooting, and then whoever's not good at shooting, Cade Cunningham's just gonna pick up the slack on that end. What were the other ones? Passing, shooting.
So it's passing, shooting, and dribbling ability.
Dribbling ability. I'm also gonna give that to Cade Cunningham. I don't know much about the other guy.
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, I don't know much
he's
about
nice.
him.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you
I've
go.
heard them compare him to he's like a rookie Giannis. The reason why, just because of his length and his athleticism. Because when Giannis came in the league, he wasn't what we know of him now. He was just a.
I mean, that's true. I tend to let the players be their own person rather than compare them to greats.
I get that. I'm not saying like I'm gonna compare him to that, but it's like, that's what people were saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm gonna go with the hometown team. I'm going with the team
so we
Cavaliers.
all got different picks. Cool.
Yeah, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. I just think it's just gonna be the support from the hometown faithful. I think Cleveland's gonna get rowdy and crazy. I'm picking Team Cleveland to win the skills challenge. That moves us on to the 3-point contest.
Cleveland,
this is for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta love it. All right,
and then leave.
Yeah, gotta love it, Kevin. All right, we've got the 3-point contest sponsored by Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew, if you are interested in sponsoring, I mean, I know a podcast even could potentially sponsor, but regardless, we've got Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, C.J. McCollum, Patty Mills, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet, and Trae Young competing in the 3-point competition. Guys, what are y'all thinking?
Trae Young.
Trae Young. Didn't even hesitate.
No. It's either going to be Trae Young. The top 3 finalists, I feel like, is going to be Trae Young, Zach LaVine, and maybe Luke Kennard, because Luke Kennard can shoot the rock.
Yeah, Luke's got a little he's got a clip on him. I mean, he can. I think he's shooting over 40% this year from 3, and he's lights out. If I'm looking at this personally from my end, I feel like this is not going to be a big name. I do think Trae is going to be, like, just from the star power and everything, going to get into the finals. I'm going to go with Desmond Bane.
Really?
Of the Memphis Grizzlies, yeah. I really like him as a player. I think he's one of the more improved players on the year, and I kind of weirdly like him in this matchup. It's kind of like a dark horse. So I'm going with Desmond Bane in this one. So,
all right.
Kevin, what about you?
Can you name the contestants again? I was busy at work.
Yeah, always at work.
Yeah,
so we got Desmond Bane, who's my pick. We've got Luke Kennard, Zach LaVine, C.J. McCollum, Patty Mills, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet, Trae Young, who's Anthony's pick. Excuse me.
I'm actually gonna take C.J. McCollum on this one.
C.J. Okay, we're going all different again. Any reason for C.J. or is it just?
He's been balling recently.
Oh, I mean, he did drop 38 on the Mavericks last night.
Like he's been. I mean, they lost, but still, like it is the New Orleans Pelicans. You know what do you expect? But he has been balling recently, so I'm gonna take C.J. McCollum in that one.
Fair enough. All right, that moves us on to the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest.
No, I got this.
All right. Last year's runner-up, Obi Toppin, will go for gold against first-timers Cole Anthony, Jalen Green, and Juan Toscano-Anderson. I already know who I'm picking.
I already know who I'm picking, too.
I think we might be picking the same guy.
I've been waiting for this guy to get in the slam dunk contest ever since I saw him play in high school. Watching highlights of him and Josh Christopher. Like, bro, if Jalen Green does not win this slam dunk contest, I'm going to be shocked.
I think him and Obi will be the final two, but yeah, I like Jalen too. Jalen's his bounce is something
crazy.
that like I haven't seen in quite some time.
So it's Jalen. Who else? Obi Toppin and who else?
Cole Anthony and Juan Toscano-Anderson.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Juan Toscano-Anderson. He's a role player on the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, so it's,
Oh, he was that guy who dunked on.
oh, I know
Mhm.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he.
How's
that
Gary?
was-
How's Gary Payton on in this? The second, of course.
I mean, he does have balance, but it's not just like if you have like the balance and everything. It's also like getting creative with it, and
Yeah,
being, like all that
that's
stuff.
true.
Because most
That's
of the time
true.
when I see him do it, he catches it up high and throws it down. But I need some more creativity, and maybe he just he didn't want to put himself into that.
I don't think Obi Toppin is near as like versatile and I guess mobile as Jalen Green would be. So I'm also going to take Jalen Green on this one.
Fair enough. All right, so we went all different, and then we went all the same. All right, and then we've got the 71st NBA All-Star Game between LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Obviously, we've got some players filling in for the injuries. I think Jason Tatum's filling in for Durant, and then is it Jared Allen that's filling in for James Harden?
Yep, Jared
Yeah.
Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, the hometown. I mean, that would make sense, right?
Yep. It's sad that they couldn't put Mobley in there too. I know he's a rookie, but
He is balling.
he is balling.
Him and Cunningham, I think, are the top two, I'd say, right now, in terms of the rookies this year.
Yeah. Definitely top two for sure.
But anyways, getting back on the topic, I'm not going to lie, Anthony, I think me and you drafted better teams than LeBron and Kevin Durant did, personally. Well, I mean, a little biased.
I mean,
but,
should I bring up those lists real quick?
I mean, if you have them, because we drafted those, what was it, episode 9, 8? What was
That
it?
was episode 8.
It was episode 8?
Episode 8.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was definitely a very interesting one. Yeah, Kevin, if you got them.
All right, so LeBron, Team LeBron, aka Cullen, is Giannis. I'm just gonna go over this. I'm just gonna go over the starters in the sixth man. Is Giannis, Nikola Jokic, Jean Morant, Trae Young, and Luka Doncic versus Anthony's Kevin Durant, which is Stephen Curry, Joel Embiid, DeMar DeRozan, and Andrew Wiggins, and then sixth man being Jason Tatum. Now, keep in mind, Kevin Durant's not playing, so I guess you would pick somebody from your reserve, but however that would work. But yeah, so that was y'all's picks.
Yeah, because I think so. On the actual team, LeBron, he got Steph, he got
And Giannis.
and Giannis, because Durant got Embiid, which was smart. But then he picked, I forget who was his, because he picked Embiid and then he picked oh my God, who was it? Was it DeMar? Was it second?
I think he got DeMar.
I think he did,
Because
actually.
LeBron went and got Steph and then he went and got Ja. I'm pretty sure. I think.
Let me look up the roster.
But either way,
I know he picked Luka on his reserves.
Yeah, I mean, I think Team Durant's just under such a handicap. The fact that he's not playing, it really is a shame because I want to see how his style kind of goes with picking these players and how works out in the All-Star game. I'm picking Team LeBron, regardless of whether it's me picking as LeBron or LeBron picking for himself. I just think that they have the overall better team. I mean, obviously, because it's the All-Star game, there's going to be some good dunks. There'll be some three-pointers, some wide-open three-pointers. And when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, it'll be some competitive basketball. Hopefully no one gets injured. Obviously, I'm going to knock on wood for that. But yeah, no, I'm picking Team LeBron. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, with that, kind of keeping on the All-Star topic, just because with each team there are some players who are on the NBA's top 75 list, and I'm kind of curious just to see if they're gonna unveil the 75 players at the All-Star game, when they had the top 50 NBA players and they all had the jackets on and they all like
a
came in.
presentation.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was about to say the list came out, so we already know who's on that.
The list
Okay.
came out, but just to have the presentation of the top 75, I think if they did that, that would be incredible. Obviously, there are some people who have passed on, who are not here anymore. God rest their souls and their abilities. But I just wonder if they're going to have the presentation of the top 75 as well.
Maybe they'll do something. I think, honestly, the NBA, you touched on the halftime show back in episode 9. I think that one's going to be very entertaining. I think it's just going to be a really nice showcase for the NBA fans to hopefully kick back, relax, and enjoy some good basketball. Hopefully the dunk contest and the All-Star game deliver us some good moments. I mean, the three-point contest and the skills challenge, it is what it is. I think those are going to be what you mostly expect, but, hopefully we get some good dunks and hopefully get some good basketball.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I think for MVP for the All-Star game, I'm going, if it's not if it's not these top three, then I could be surprised. If it's not LeBron, if it's not Giannis or DeMar DeRozan, I wouldn't be surprised if DeMar DeRozan got All-Star MVP just because of how he's balling right now. I mean, he broke Wilt Chamberlain's record of, I think.
So you said the top three was Giannis, DeMar, and who was the other one?
Giannis, DeMar, and LeBron for MVP.
I don't have either one of those three winning it.
Really?
I have Ja.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
I think I think this is going to be Ja being like,
This is like his breakout party.
like, listen, I mean, he's really spearheaded the Memphis Grizzlies roster into being a top 4 seed that they are. And now that he's on a really national stage with all other stars, he's going to be like, hey, I'm here. There's a reason I'm an All-Star Game starter. And
Right.
I think there's a really good chance that he wins All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah,
So,
I see that.
Kevin?
And then again, I don't even think I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic even got it too.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Point Center. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. Are you picking Team LeBron as well? Or are you picking, okay.
I'm picking Team LeBron to win the whole thing, honestly, because LeBron is on a 4 All-Star game win streak. He's 4-0 right now. I would not be surprised if he went 5-0.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Or if his team won every year until he retired.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that'll never happen with the way he's going, but we'll see. So we've got, just to recap, so we've got myself picking Team LeBron, and then with Ja Morant as MVP, and then we've got Anthony also picking Team LeBron with, you said, DeMar DeRozan as your MVP?
Yes, DeMar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin, that leaves you.
So I mean, man, I think that Team LeBron is overall more like. One thing that I'm noticing is Team Durant has a lot of youth, but Team LeBron has a lot of experience.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially I mean, I know this isn't a playoff game or anything, but they have playoff experience. Therefore, they're like older guys who kind of know what they're doing. So, I mean, I guess I'll have to bandwagon. I'll take Team LeBron, but I'm taking Giannis as an MVP.
That's fair. Totally respectable. I mean, he was the first overall pick, and Giannis, I mean, he's just naturally going to try hard in everything that he does. So it's a good chance that he could be the MVP of the All-Star game. Wouldn't shock me at all.
Is that all the events?
So that would conclude the All-Star game weekend.
Now, what about the celebrity game?
Well, so that's going on right now.
I know it's going on right now, but
so I mean, do we really want to?
Miles Garrett. That's my pick.
Shout out
Or
Miles
Quavo.
Garrett.
Either Miles Garrett or Quavo.
Nah, I think
Miles Garrett almost dunked on Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, Miles Garrett showed me all I needed to know with that block on Quavo.
like I said last episode, he's gonna definitely get drug tests. So
yeah, but I think we're good to transition to some more recent NBA action if you guys are ready.
Yeah. So Embiid drops 42 with a statement win over the Bucks. It was a hard fought victory, obviously.
42-14.
Yeah, the game was close. For most of the way through.
I mean, so Milwaukee had a 15
I know that
lead.
makes Anthony happy. So
It does. That's why I took my glasses off, because I was thinking to myself, Giannis Antetokounmpo just dropped 50 points the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And Joel comes out here and drops a smooth 40 on the champ and two-time MVP Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, this is a statement win, because I think that the 76ers are telling the Bucks, hey, we here too.
Mm-hmm.
We will see you guys in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're going to win. I know that James Harden has not come in yet, and I know that we aren't even in the halfway mark, not at the end of the season yet, but I think it just proves on how dominant Joel Embiid is, just how of a hot streak he's been on for the past couple of games, like in total, because Embiid is just he's going on a wreck right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean if the NBA season stopped today, Joel Embiid is the MVP. Plain and simple. He's been dominant. He's been everything that when the 76ers drafted him, number 3 overall, that they'd hope him to be. 42-14, 5 assists. I mean, it helped the 76ers come back from a 15-point deficit from Milwaukee. Giannis, to his credit, dropped 32, 11-9. But, I mean, we've got a team here in Philadelphia where you got Joel Embiid, you got James Harden, like you said, coming in. Tyrese Maxey looks like a young, just emerging star. Tobias Harris, who, I mean, yeah, he's getting paid a lot, but if he's your third or fourth option, definitely is not a bad thing. That's for sure. And the 76ers team, it's going to be really interesting to see how they look in the second half of the season. We are going to be saving that for kind of more preview on next week's episode. But yeah, no, this was definitely something I didn't see personally coming. I still thought they were going to kind of be regrouping after, the trade and, the guys that they traded away and everything. But no, credit to Embiid, credit to them for fighting, especially like with the All-Star game coming right around the corner too. It was a really big win for the 76ers.
Yeah. And in other news, Anthony Davis injured again. He injured, what did it, something with his ankle, right?
It was a midfoot sprain.
Yeah. So they say he's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. But yeah, Anthony Davis is out again. So the struggle for the Lakers does continue.
Well, LeBron James here to save the day again.
Or attempt to. I mean,
right.
He's top 2 in points. Like, he's just under Embiid in terms of points per game.
Yeah.
And I mean, the roster. Let's call it what it is. It's not a good roster that LeBron has around him.
Look, let's just be even more honest. The Lakers are not making the playoffs or the play-in tournament.
So you're making that proclamation.
They're not making the play-in tournament.
You're making that
not making the
proclamation
playoff. They're not going to. Anthony Davis is out for at least 4 weeks. Yes, that's great, but he's probably going to be out for 2 more weeks. And I told you this off air. Like, Anthony Davis will probably be out for more than 4 weeks.
Yeah, he'll be reevaluated after the 4 weeks.
Yeah, so that gives it, like 2 more weeks? So, like 6 weeks, he'll probably be out. And then he has to practice, and then he's going to play, which is probably 2 more weeks. So, 4 weeks may be 8 weeks, more likely, before we even see him play.
Is he just injury prone or is he just unlucky?
I mean,
can you put your
he's
future in a player like Anthony Davis to be your number 2?
Look, I'll keep it real. You can't even throw a paper plane at him or else he'll get hurt. If you drop a penny on the ground and hits his pinky toe, he's gonna be injured.
And I was worried about throwing the slander around.
I'm just. Hey, look, Anthony Davis has been injured way too many times, and I've heard reports of them wanting to trade him. I've heard people say that. I think they should trade Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a fantastic player, 28 years old. Very young, still able to make things happen on the court. Just maybe not for the Lakers. Like, the Lakers just need to move in a different direction. LeBron James is not getting any younger, guys, and LeBron James is in his late 30s now, and he needs a younger squad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he doesn't like playing with younger guys, though. He wants veterans because they know how to sit there and play and keep situations and everything.
Well, have you seen the past younger players that have gone out to different teams and play? Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, Jordan Clarkson, Brandon Ingram.
Let me ask you this: at their age, in which the Lakers won that championship, what was it, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, 2 years ago now. Yeah.
I mean, again, Anthony Davis wins you that championship, obviously, as it's proven. I'm not sure if that kind of core players that the Lakers had would have gotten them over the hump. I really don't with LeBron.
My thing is, the core players that they had that 2 years ago was KCP, Kuzma.
Lonzo.
No, not Lonzo.
Lonzo was there.
No.
Lonzo was in the package that traded for AD.
No. I'm saying. No. Add AD already.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
You're
the young group that they've already had.
Got it. Okay.
Instead of
and then they had Alex Corso.
Right.
Caruso.
Right.
I don't know what I said.
Right. Like that core group that they traded away for Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, and all the older heads who are out of their prime. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're trading away these assets for what? Like, that doesn't
putting
make any
together the
sense.
team that LeBron wants.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight Howard was a key contributor on their team. Let's not make a mistake. Like, whenever they needed to go big, Dwight Howard played meaningful minutes during that playoff run. I'm not saying here Dwight wasn't what he is now, because Dwight's just at that toll and everything. But if you go back to that championship team, Dwight Howard was a key contributor on that team.
You're right.
I'm not gonna take Dwight Howard slander, but Los Angeles is currently 27-31. They're ninth place in the Western Conference. They'd be in that 9-10 matchup in the play-in tournament, as if the playoffs were to start today. I mean, Anthony, I know you're the Lakers fan and everything, and I know you're being kind of it's hurting you right now because you had high hopes.
Yeah, I get you.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
Look,
that's true.
I'm going to look straight into this camera. The Lakers will not make the play-in tournament. They're just not going to. The West is already too stacked. There's already teams that are coming up, and the Lakers are just not going to make it. I don't believe that they're going to make it.
I'm not ruling out any team with LeBron James on the roster not making the playoffs if he's healthy.
And I respect that.
No,
I
he's
respect
not,
that.
He's not Tom Brady like. So I'm gonna still say that like.
Now that is redonkulous.
No,
Oh
I'm
my
like
God.
as far as like if he's in it, I'm not betting against him kind of thing. Like I'll bet against LeBron
I mean, look, at the end of the
because
day,
I don't think the Lakers can be the top 4 teams in the West.
well, look,
no. You're right.
No,
you're
no,
definitely
no,
right about
we're
that.
not saying that. I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, because Anthony was saying that he doesn't think that the Lakers are even going to make the play-in tournament.
I mean,
So you're saying that you're betting against LeBron being one of those top 10 teams at the end of the season.
no, like I'm saying, like I mean, they could definitely make the playoffs, but if they do, they're not going to be able to beat any of the top 4 teams. That's what I'm saying. Like they won't make it far.
I think if they're healthy, and if it's Anthony, and again, that's assuming a lot because that's giving the fact that Anthony Davis is healthy. If Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and the whole crew is healthy, right? Because I mean, with him and Russ, it's gonna be a struggle. If they can somehow get into that, what was it, the 7th seed? So they'd have to sit there and win 2 games, I believe, to get the 7th seed.
Yeah.
They would give Golden State problems. I would still pick Golden State in that series, but they would make that series interesting. I would not pick
Against Golden State.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Warriors.
Yes.
When Clay is like at peak Clay level, and Steph Curry's at all time like all-star.
If you tell me that they're healthy going into that series, I say Golden State in 6. That's what I would say.
Anyway,
Okay.
we'll save playoff talk later. We're literally just about to go into the All-Star break. Anyway, let's take it over to some college basketball. Another Big 12 matchup. I know we've been talking about the Big 12 matchups a lot, but Texas Tech is going to be playing Texas this weekend. And before I give my Texas talk of the day, what are y'all's thoughts? I mean, we saw Texas Tech take out Baylor last night, so.
And already beat this Texas team before the last time they played.
Yep.
So, I mean, look, Texas Tech just seems like they're on a mission in terms of the defense. I know Texas technically allows less points per game than Texas Tech, but the rotation and everything that I saw whenever they met back in Lubbock or whatever the first time they met, however, it felt like it was only a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
Yeah. It just seems like Mark Adams really gets his team fired up to go against Chris Beard for obvious reasons that we don't need to get into. Texas Tech ranks 8th in the Big 12 shooting from downtown, so it's not really necessarily a strength of theirs. So if they can really sit there and knock down their shots, play defense and everything, I think that they could really put the hurting on the Longhorns, personally. Texas, they were playing kind of just out of their skis, in my opinion. I just don't think that they're at the same level as Texas Tech. Could they still make a decent tournament run? Sure. Texas Tech, to me, seems like a borderline Final Four team. Like they seem like they're one of the more complete teams.
They're there, yeah.
In the college basketball, they're 7-3 in their last 10, averaging over 72 points, shooting 45% from the field, and their defense is going to show. I mean, there's going to be a physical game. There's going to be a really technical in terms of the defensive side of the ball. So I'm really interested in looking in it. But if we're making picks, I'm going with the Red Raiders on this one.
Yeah, same here. I just think that the Red Raiders, is, like you said, they have a more complete team. They are just, like you said, they are a Final Four team. I don't think they've skipped a step in the past 3 seasons, and that is when they went to that championship. When they went on that championship run. I don't remember the year, but I just don't think Texas Tech has missed a step, even when they had, Mac and Cheese, Mac McClung on that squad.
The one against Virginia, the one you're speaking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they were playing against.
It was like Matt Guy. Oh my God, the dude that plays for DeAndre Hunter was on that team too.
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, that was incredible, and I just think that they have not skipped a step, just on how efficient they are, on the defensive end, and I just think that on the defensive end that they're just going to give Texas a hard time, and it's a big rivalry game too. Texas Tech going against Texas. I mean, that's always going to be huge.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and they're playing at home, right?
This is in Austin.
This one's in Austin because Texas Tech. Last time Texas took on Texas Tech, it was at Tech. So
this is gonna be a loud one.
Yeah, and
I don't know how well Tech does on the road, but
yeah. I mean, Tech's I'm pretty sure that they're undefeated. I think they're undefeated on the road, if I'm not mistaken.
Tech?
I think so. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure Texas Tech.
I think you're wrong. I'm pretty sure Gonzaga is the only other school.
They're undefeated at home then.
Other than, of course, North Texas.
Yeah.
That is undefeated on the road.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga's dangerous too.
Well, obviously. I mean, it's Gonzaga. What do you expect?
So they're undefeated. Okay. Yeah, so they're undefeated at home. My apologies.
I mean, they did lose to Baylor last year, which was like...
we're talking about 2 Premier League top college basketball schools. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
it's not like they lost to a nobody.
That's true.
No, like I said, so what is your case for Texas? Because I know your heart's in burnt orange. So what's your case for the Texas Longhorns for this game?
Be physical and don't the stuff that happened at Tech. I feel like it got too personal. I feel like people are trying to make this like a really personal game, because Chris Beard came to Tech.
You mean to Texas?
Came from. I meant to say came from Tech. Don't make it personal. Play game. Be physical, because Tech is physical, and they're really good at defense. And obviously Texas is good at defense. So rely on that, and make your shots. I mean, obviously, right? But I mean, it's pretty simple. Be physical. Make your shots. Continue to play good defense, and hey, try to get out rebound them.
Well, I mean, it's clearly personal for Tech. I mean,
for Tech, it's very personal. Yeah, and I get that, but Texas has to, and that's why I'm saying they got to be more physical than Tech.
Yeah, they just got to be ready.
I mean, to me, it just seems like it's a big brother, little brother thing, which is ironic because Texas, I mean, with their kind of just, their pipeline being like the most well-known school from Texas, arguably. Texas Tech, to me, it just seems like the better basketball team. I mean, could they play it close? Could Tech have a bad game and Texas pull off the upset? Sure, but
But the thing about it is if Texas did beat Texas Tech, that wouldn't do anything for our season.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
If Texas did beat Texas Tech, that wouldn't do anything for Texas.
I mean, it would
give them pride.
Yeah, I mean, it would increase your seeding. It would increase your seeding. It would give you a win over your rival.
Okay, but you just got blew out of the water by Baylor the other day. I mean...
Yeah, that's true.
You still want momentum going to the conference championship and going to postseason.
I guess, but as a fan, the momentum that we're having is not what I like.
So you're saying this game's meaningless for Texas?
It's meaningless for okay. The thing about it is the only advantage that Texas has on this game is it's meaningless to Texas. It means a lot to Texas Tech, because if Texas Tech loses this game, then their momentum starts to diminish. Because they're beating and they've been doing this all year.
I see what you're talking about.
They've been beating all these really high schools, all these really big schools, and in conference, out of conference. Well, I take that back. They're struggling in conference, actually. I mean, yes, they beat Baylor, but correct me if I'm wrong, they struggled against Kansas.
Are you talking about Tech or are you talking about Texas?
Tech. I'm talking about Tech. Tech has these issues with beating lower schools, and I think it's because they get so amped up to beat these big league schools. Like, they just took care of Baylor, and they beat them by what? Like, more than 10 points.
I mean, I just think the Big 12, like I said, you could argue that Big 12 is the better program.
Yeah,
It's one of the better conferences. There's no way that you can sit here and justify, like, if I'm sitting here and I'm rooting for Texas, I want to beat Texas Tech this weekend. I think this game means huge for the rest of the season.
I mean, of course, anything Tech related, I want to win in, especially as a Texas fan. I mean, it goes all the way around the board. But
I mean, you said Tech was struggling in conference. They literally have a 9-4 conference record. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. The only one that has better is Kansas, and Kansas we know what the type of program that Kansas is.
Okay,
so
so the basis of my point is yes, Big 12 is a big league and it's hard. But what I'm trying to say is it seems like Texas or Tech, whenever they go to beat when they go to play in these big schools that have higher seeding or anything like that, they put out their best. But when it comes to playing these lower schools, they don't. Like, yeah, they beat Texas what was it, like a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
It was literally by a small margin. And then you go and play Baylor and you blow them out by like 11 points or something. I mean, it just don't make a whole bunch of sense. Yeah, I get it. It's basketball. It fluctuates. It's different. But that is the only edge that Texas has, is this game means more to Tech than it does to Texas, in my opinion.
No, yeah. I mean, I see that because, like, you beat Texas, 77-64 a couple days ago, and then you win against West Virginia 60-53, but then you lose to OU, who's not even ranked, 70-55. Like, I don't know if there was an injury or anything like that, but I don't believe so. But it was just like, okay, where did that come from? And then
Tech has kind of always, its entire season has kind of been an up and down team, and it's been hard to, and that's kind of why they're. What is Tech at right now?
You're in terms of record or conference record?
Actually, AP like the 25, AP 25.
They're 11.
Okay, and that's why they're not. That's not why they're not in that top 8 category. If they had been consistent, they'd be in that top 8 category.
Well, and also too, they were ranked lower going into the season than Texas was.
So
because they weren't even ranked in the top 25 when the season started.
And I mean, and I'm pretty sure when the season started, I was like, I don't know really how I feel about Texas being ranked this high. We don't have.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that much to offer.
I don't know how many conferences you can say that. I'm literally looking at the conference record for all the teams right now. Not a single person other than Oklahoma State, who's not even tournament eligible this year because of obvious their sanctions and everything, has a losing record. Everyone else has a winning record. And even then, Oklahoma State's 12-13, so they're one game under 500. Like Oklahoma, I know you said that they lost to them. They're 14-12. It's not like they're a bad basketball team. Like I get in the scheme of things in comparison to the Big 12, yeah, they're not that great, but I mean, 14-12 is nothing to sneeze at. It's not like you're a terrible program.
I get it, but whenever you're being put in the conversations with top 4 talent, top 4, NCAA talent, which Tech is, and they've proven to be before in the past, you're going to get ridiculed. And in my opinion, they deserve to be a top 8 team, but because of their inconsistencies and losing to these lower schools, I get it. It's in the same conference, and I don't care what anybody says. Conference games are always going to be more competitive than regular games. Like if you go out of conference, like for instance, if Texas is to go and play, I'm trying to think. What's a decent SEC school that comes out of your head?
Arkansas.
Okay, so Texas goes and plays Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
We lost this year, obviously, to Arkansas. But say Texas goes and plays Arkansas and we win.
Yeah.
That's an expectation, right? Everybody's like, okay, you go take care of Arkansas.
No, that makes sense, yeah.
We go play Kansas. I mean, I'll even say it. We go play Kansas the next week, right? And we lose. No, I'm not going to say. I mean Kansas State, not Kansas. Like Kansas State. Now,
okay.
We go and play Kansas State the next week and we lose. Everybody's going to be like, oh, how are you going to do that? And then you lose to Kansas State. It's a rivalry. It's in your conference. Conference games are harder because one, the team is more familiar with the school, and you might play them more than once a year, and they're just closer typically, and so in conference games are always going to be harder. So I think Tech gets the advantage, and I think they need to be moved up because they're an 11 team, but really they're like a top 8 team.
Yeah, and I mean even in like I know we're talking basketball, but I just want to move that to football. People really thought Texas was just going to destroy Arkansas. Like when they played, it was like, oh yeah, Texas got this in the bag. This is easy. And then it was a shocker that Texas lost to Arkansas.
And this brings me back to what I kind of said before. This game's doesn't mean so much to Texas because our momentum's already diminished. If you look back at that football season last year that Texas had a historically horrible football season, we played amazing up until halftime of that game against OU. From that point on, we played like garbage. That's because the momentum that we had was diminished. As a Longhorn fan, you have to have momentum the entire way through or all hope is almost gone. So this game means a lot more to Tech than it does to Texas, and I think that's the only edge that Texas has. But Tech is a way more rounded school, and it's going to be a good matchup.
Well, look, I know we've talked a lot about this matchup, but we still got some more college basketball to talk to. Let's get over to another top 25 matchup, Alabama versus Kentucky. Number 25, Alabama, taking on number 4 seed, Kentucky. This is also taking place tomorrow. This is going to be at 12 o'clock, so you're going to have to choose which one you're going to be watching, whether it's Texas or this game. Kentucky's really kind of found their form after starting off slow to begin the season. They are still behind Auburn in the SEC standings. Kentucky has a 10-3 conference record. Auburn 12-1. Guys, what do you think about this matchup? Kentucky is favored by 6.5 going into the game. What are y'all's thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Alabama has kind of creeped themselves into the basketball school category. Obviously, they're a football school, but they've creeped themselves into the conversation of being a basketball program that's decent. But this is Kentucky we're talking about. I mean,
that's true.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, the number 25 Crimson Tide, they're 17-9, 7-6 in the SEC. They've won 3 straight, while number 4 Kentucky is 21-5 and 10-3. And they're just, coming off of a 76-63 loss on Tuesday against Tennessee. So, I think Alabama has the momentum, but that doesn't mean Kentucky's not just gonna, wash the floor with them. I think it's going to be a very tight-knit game between the two. I think his name's J.D. Davis for Alabama. That man is a monster. He just brings the energy for that team, for that Crimson Tide basketball squad. But Kentucky squad they've never missed a beat. They have played great basketball this season.
They haven't lost at home. They're 15-0.
Yeah, and at home they are dominant. I think it's just because of those Kentucky fans, ultimately. But Kentucky, with their head coach, I think they're going to do fine. I think I'm not saying they're going to blow them out. I'm not going to say that. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a tight-knit battle. But I'm going with Kentucky to come out of this one.
Yeah, no, Calipari is who you were trying to think of there for the head coach. No, listen, Oscar, I apologize for pronouncing your name wrong. Shibwe, I think is how you say
Oscar
it.
Shibwe.
16-15. Dude's an absolute monster from the Republic of Congo. He has been their leading scorer and obviously leading rebounder for the UK Wildcats. He's been phenomenal. Obviously, you got on the other side Shackelford, the junior, averaging 17, 5 rebounds, and about assist and a half per game. He's also been really good for the Crimson Tide. To me, it comes down to defense. Alabama is averaging 75.5 points allowed per game. Kentucky, 64.7. So that's about a 10-point, 11-point drop-off there between the two teams, while both are averaging a little over 80 per game on offense. So this will be coming down to Alabama. Can they, set up their offense? Can they create shots against Kentucky? A very well-run program. Like I said, Kentucky's really finding its way into form. They are coming off a loss, so they're going to look to try to get right back on track, coming closer to SEC tournament time. So, I'm also going to be picking Kentucky in this game. But don't be surprised if Alabama, like you mentioned, Kevin, with the in-conference rivalries, how close this game could potentially be.
Yeah, this one will be a close one, though. But I'm probably going to end up taking Kentucky just with the experience of being a basketball school. Speaking of basketball school, I think it's pretty safe to say North Texas is a basketball school at this point, right?
It is a basketball school.
I can't as a mean green eagle myself, it's kind of hard for me to put my faith into quite anything else sports related other than our basketball. And I'm not even talking about just men's basketball. Our women's basketball team's pretty good too.
Yeah, shout out to the Q.
They got a good shot at getting into the playoffs, and they can definitely do something.
Yeah, no, they're both on win streaks right now. Women's team on a 5-game winning streak. UNT men's, though, the one that we're going to be getting to, on an 11-game winning streak.
11.
Tied for second longest in program history. The only one longer is a 14-game winning streak back in the 1977-1978 season to close out. It's going to be very interesting. We're going up against the team that we last lost to in University of Alabama, Birmingham Blazers. It was 69-63, I believe, the final score back in early December.
The heartbreaker, man.
Yeah. We're going to be very motivated for this game. We just came off of we'll call it gritty.
Yeah,
gritty,
gritty win.
Gritty.
Real gritty win
against the Florida Atlantic Owls.
54-51.
Yeah, God, that was
tight.
That's McCaslin basketball right there.
Yeah, because the North Texas, and we mentioned this on the podcast a few days ago. North Texas is actually ranked the number 1 defense
points per game wise
in the country.
Yep,
points per game wise, and they have been on an average of maintaining each Conference USA foe under at least under 10% or 10 points under their average. And that is what kind of is I don't want to say is the key for this mean green team, but it kind of is. Because when it comes down to games like this, because if you go and look at their shooting, they did not have a good shooting night. But because of the lockdown defense, they were able to hold the Owls part 2. I don't know why we have Rice Owls and Florida Atlantic Owls, but anyway, they were able to hold the Owls to under 20, almost 25 points under their normal scoring average. And because of that, North Texas was able to pull this win out. And like you said, it's that Grant McCallison basketball right there. You know, I mean, having an off shooting night and still winning, but having that gritty defense. Now, I'll give FAU credit because their defense was right back at you. But we missed a lot of open shots, and I'm hoping and I know that we can turn that around and get ready for UAB.
I mean, UAB going into Saturday is averaging just over 81 points per game.
Wow, that's a lot of points, man.
UNT on defense is giving up less than 56. So something's got to give.
Yeah.
I mean, it all comes down, like I said, to team playing basketball and finding whoever the hot hand is. Because, I mean, last game it was Thomas Bell. We all have mentioned Tyler Perry a bunch on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
JJ. I mean, we've got plenty of other guys, Abu, Usman. I mean, we've got definitely some guys that can take over. It's going to be a complete team effort with this team because
for sure.
These two teams, and along with excuse me, Louisiana Tech, thank you. They're going to be the three teams fighting it out, in my opinion, for the conference championship and the right to potentially go to the NCAA tournament. I don't believe another team's just going to get an outright at-large bid from this conference. No. So this is going to be very crucial in terms of, like you said, we're getting into that season now. We're getting
into that atmosphere. It's getting close. And another thing that I wanted to point out is, along with that defense that North Texas is infamous, that they're famous for at this point right now, they've ranked them. They've actually gotten themselves to number 2 in the mid-major rankings, and that's huge. That's really big. If North Texas could actually pull off this win against UAB, North Texas should be getting some top 25 votes, which is kind of sounds outlandish to say, but when you look at everything and you put pen to paper, North Texas has proven to be an AP 25 vote. Maybe they're not going to get in the AP 25, but they deserve a few votes at least.
It's deserved, yeah.
And another thing that UNT is really good at, and if they can do this for if they can do this for UAB, it'll be huge. And and the attempt to get a win. North Texas is really good at eliminating their best shooter. Whoever the best shooter is on the opposing team, they can eliminate. So when they went and played FAU last night, their FAU has a hot hand 3-point shooter. His name was
for FAU.
Yeah, it was like Rich. It was like Richard
something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'll look up his name for a second.
Yeah, get that name for me. Anyway, they have a hot hand 3-point shooter, right? And he's been known to just take these outlandish 3-point shots and make them, these Tyler Perry shots. And last night, North Texas had him make 1 3-point shot out of 5 attempts. And that's just kind of, I mean, that's just North Texas basketball. We're going to play really good defense on you, but they got to make the shots. Because if they make the shots that they should have made last night, I mean, we could have beat FAU by at least 10 points.
Well, there was 2 guys that shot 1 of 5 from 3. Michael Forrest and Elijah Martin.
Michael Forrest was the name. I don't know why I said Richard, but yeah, Michael Forrest. Michael Forrest was the name. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, it'll be a very interesting game for sure. I know I'll be tuning in through my work to try to, see if I can catch some of the game. Hope you guys do too. Anybody else who listens out there that goes to North Texas, because it's going to be a good one and a very important one for the Mean Green.
Yeah, if we can get this win, that'd be huge. Light the tower everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I think it's just going to be a momentum shifter. I mean, it's going to be a momentum shifter going in a positive way or a negative way for the Mean Green. If they win this game, I think it's just going to boost their confidence.
It's going to be huge.
But if they lose, then it's going
to be a tough thing to come back from. I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, I know they play LA Tech again soon.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah.
Next week.
So that's going to be another big game. So
we play them at home.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge. So UAB and then LA Tech, that's going to be 2 huge games, and they have to win. They have to win if they want to make another tournament run and win the CUSA, and get another banner up there. They're going to have to win these games.
Yeah, I mean, we got to win it. But that's going to do it for college basketball. And we don't get to talk about it often, so we're going to take the time while we can. Let's talk about a little bit of Major League Baseball. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So MLB came out yesterday and said that there's a deadline. They created this deadline, February 28th.
Yep.
They said that we have to have a CBA signed and completely agreed upon by February 28th.
Yeah. Do you want me to list the differences in numbers that they're at right now?
No, not right now. Not right now. I know you got them stats on hand.
I mean, listen, I got to let the audience know because, I mean, the minimum salary, I mean, the pre-arbitration pool is insane. It's at $100 million difference between the Players Association and MLB.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to do it. So that came out, and then they said they're probably going to meet every single day to get this resolved, right? And then today they come out and they're like, hey, actually, you know what? Just forget about it. We're just gonna delay spring training. No big deal. We're just gonna delay spring training.
They met for a total of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like, we'll just delay spring training. No big deal, right? Yeah. And then so they say, so the MLB comes out and they're like, hey, we're gonna delay spring training. It's what we have to do. Blah 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 blah. Then the MLBPA came out and said, no, that's not quite it. They were like, we attempted to conversate on this, and the MLBPA is basically saying that the MLB wanted to delay spring training, and it's a whole thing going on. I don't know how we're gonna get a CBA agreed upon in 10 days at this point. There's so much disagreement between the two sides. Like you said, the number differences are astronomically different. I don't know how they're going to get this done.
Yeah, it just sounds like a hot mess.
It
just looks like a pigsty, and the MLB just needs to get their stuff together, because if not, they've already delayed spring training, and I think we talked off the air, like they may have to delay the season. Just if they don't get a deadline, if they don't get anything done by February 28th. How many times have they, not figured out a solution for?
I mean, this isn't the first lockout.
No, it's not.
And
is this their longest though?
No,
no. There was a remind me of the year 19.
It was in the 90s. Give me 1 second.
I want to say it was the 1993-94 season.
I think you're right.
1993-94 season. Upon correction, the MLB and the MLBPA could not come to terms, and there was no CBA. There was no baseball season. There was no postseason playoffs. Nothing.
Wow.
The owners lost a lot of money. It was a huge thing for baseball, and we're still trying to recover to this day. We talk about how baseball's not as prominent as we.
It was the 94-95. You were just off by 1 year.
Oh, man.
Dang, man.
You were off by 1 year.
Anyway.
Including the MLB World Series. It canceled 938 games in the entire 1994 postseason, including the World Series, as I mentioned. And this is the first one since then. So this is why MLB fans are kind of freaking out, because they do have that recent memory of everything. Minimum salary, MLB is arguing for $630,000 starting. MLBPA $775,000, which again, those numbers don't sound off, but it adds up variously over time. Pre-arbitration pool, that's the one. MLB at $15 million. MLBPA $115 million. Players offering 2 9-figure revenue streams. Playoff expansion. The union's at 12 teams, not the 14 needed for $100 million in TV money. We'll talk about that more here in a second. And potentially adding ads on uniforms. League offering multiple other smaller chunks not able to get to the threshold that the players are trying to get to. And like you said, they just seem perfectly content on being like, we're not. They almost seem like, MLB is like sitting here. MLBPA is like sitting there asking reasonable demands, asking reasonable for changes.
And MLB's like, we don't want to hear it.
Exactly. It's like they're just like sitting there and just being like, oh, we'll get to it later. Like it's something on their to-do list that they can just keep chucking behind.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is the cool thing. A lot of players are starting to figure this out. And now, and it kind of sounds surprising to hear, right? But if you look around the league, these players are starting to learn the control that they have over the game. MLBPA is far more stronger than the MLB can offer. The MLBPA, one, they know their control. They know that the MLB don't make no money without them. And they know that they can go out and practice every single day and still get better. So whenever the MLB does come back, they can go play. And get this, if a new CBA don't get signed, they'll just go play international and get paid.
It's just true.
True.
The only thing that that the MLB, I guess, it has towards their argument is the players that are not at the major league level, especially in the minor league level.
That is their advantage.
That they're not sitting there, because these are the guys that they're really fighting for. There's those guys that are sitting there, especially on those arbitration deals, on those guys that aren't necessarily on the biggest guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
Like, we obviously know the bigger guys and everything. So this is the potential that they've got kind of struggling for. And again, the MLB doesn't want to give up too much leverage, so they're sitting there trying to figure out how much they're trying to give up. I don't see this personally ending
in time.
Before the start of the season, like if you're sitting there, do you think the MLB will start when it's scheduled?
No.
I'm gonna have to say no.
No.
I don't think it's going to start. Do I think we'll have a season? I think we'll have a season.
What's your give a percentage?
I don't know. I don't know. There's so little information that we know. At the same time, we know a good amount. Like, we know more information now about the meetings than we would have known in that 1994-95 season.
I mean, we accomplished more on this podcast today than they accomplished in their meeting today.
Hey, we've been running
be
for
honest.
55 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
it's
hey,
more than
kudos to
15.
us.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And to be honest, it could be solved. Like, the thing is like, if they were to actually sit there and have these negotiations and actually have these meetings and devolve more or less what the MLBPA, is trying to offer, this could potentially get done in time for the start of the season.
Oh, no, for sure.
I just don't think the MLB will be having that mindset, going into these meetings next week.
I don't think. And see, and the argument that I was trying to make off air was, by the MLB coming out and saying, "Hey, this is the deadline that we're gonna set to get the season going on time." In my opinion, that is them already seeing the future of giving up. They're already like, "Hey, this probably ain't gonna work."
Like,
so
predetermining.
yeah,
you're saying.
basically predetermining that this is not gonna work, and this is the date by which we're gonna have to have this done. Which, if you can't get anything done in how long has the lockout been? 22 days or something like that?
Well, it's been since the beginning
Or
of December.
actually longer than that. It's been
almost 60. It's somewhere between 40 and 60, I think, days.
so it's already been that long, and you're gonna give a 10-day.
Yeah, because it started on December 2nd, so that's 29 plus
Quick
the
math.
days.
Quick math.
So yeah, so it's actually over 60.
Yeah.
Over
So
60 days. Yeah.
you're gonna give them 10 days to figure it out. I'll be damned. It's pitiful. It's actually pitiful because we can't even get to the ground roots of baseball, which is, hey, these are the changes that need to be made. This is what needs to happen to make baseball more interesting. This is what needs to happen to get more views on baseball. All these different things that need to be addressed can't even get addressed because we're not even playing baseball right now.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So do you think that if they don't get anything done by the 28th, you think we're having a season?
No, if they don't get anything done by the 20th, well, I don't know.
No, I don't think it'll be a complete shutdown, but it'll be something.
It'll be something.
What it will do is it will guarantee that the MLB season will not start when it's scheduled to, and it'll just at that point. I mean, it's free game of when you expect it to come back.
And that's going to hurt the MLB because typically the World Series ends just in time for football to start. If not, it actually overlaps a little bit. So if you're telling me that the World Series is going to play in the middle of football season,
Yeah.
No, I mean they wouldn't push the World Series back. I think they would just sit there and just reduce the number of regular season games.
And then they're going to reduce the number of regular season games, and then either the MLBPA or the owners can be like, "Hey, why don't we just do this from now on?" And then they're going to reduce the. It's a whole thing. Baseball is so screwed. I don't know what they're going to do.
We could talk about something on.
I mean, as you can tell, it gets me a little heated.
It's a little bit, but
it's kind of frustrating.
Well, listen, we're in these talks, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. But there was a report today, I think, that might brighten your spirits a little bit, Kevin.
Please do.
Okay, so actually, my buddy sent me this tweet on Twitter, and it's about the MLB's new playoff format. As we mentioned, that there's going to be a potential new format with these collective bargaining agreements. Personally, I think it's a good thing that the MLB is extending the postseason. Have that opinion for what you will. But this was a tweet by Craig Carton. He's a radio host on WFAN 101.9. He
Shout
says,
out, Craig.
Yeah, shout out, yeah. MLB playoff format is set. Fans gonna love it. And again, this is just him. I'm not sure what source he got from this, but this is just what he tweeted out.
Yeah. 7
playoff teams per league. So that would be each 14, of the 3 divisions, and then 3 second place wins, and then I guess just like a super, whichever one came out in the third, the best. Team with the best record gets a bye and goes to the divisional series. Top remaining division winner picks opponent from the 4 wildcard teams and plays the best of 3 all games at home. Then the third division winner does the same. Now, again, I don't know the credibility of this report. The reason why I wanted to bring it up is because that this is something that, again, it's a credible source. This guy, is obviously a radio host. He's got connections and everything. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be the exact format because, again, we don't know anything for sure until those collective bargaining negotiations come out.
Yeah.
What would you boys, think of the proposal that I just laid out? and then what would you do to either change it, or would you rather just leave it how this guy described it?
Honestly, at this point, I don't even care. I just want baseball. I don't even care at this point. I just want baseball.
Yeah, no, I mean it's needed, and especially for Fools on Stools too. I mean, if we get to June and July,
I mean, what the hell did they want us to talk about?
I mean, it's a good point. Like, I mean, we're gonna be sitting there after the NBA Finals. I mean, there's gonna be.
I'm gonna sit here to talk about charcuterie boards, and I don't even know what else. I mean, Formula One. We're gonna have to bore everybody with Formula One, unless actually people are enjoying Formula One, which I don't know.
Listen, you're a real one if you enjoy Formula One.
Yeah, for real.
I'm getting there, guys. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, I'm doing my homework.
Yeah, I don't know. The MLB needs to pull it through. I don't.
I just have faith. Just have faith.
I'm trying.
What do you think, Anthony?
I'm trying.
I mean, the new new Formula One, the new format for the MLB for the playoffs. It's I don't know a lot of information on it, but I think it could help. But like Kevin said, if we don't have baseball, then I mean, what's the point of the new format? Because then we're not going to see it. So I mean, if we don't have baseball, if they don't get their stuff together, if they don't put their heads together and stop being knuckleheads, then we ain't gonna get nothing. There's gonna be no baseball, and there's only gonna be college baseball, and that's it. And we all know how good Texas college baseball is. At least Kevin knows very well.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna do it for hour one. Be sure to tune in for hour two of the Fools on Stools podcast. The boys and I will be we're gonna be taking it to Cullen's Corner, Anthony's Alley, and my very own Kevin's Kickback. But for now, don't forget, grab a stool
and be a fool.
They can actually see the stools now. Holy crap.
Don't see mine.